Hi, and welcome to Amy's podcast. This is Amy's Opinions. Today we're going to be talking about movies and movie etiquette. I have with me my daughter Maggie and my husband Lawrence. Say hi, everyone.
Hey.
Hello.
So Lawrence is staying out of camera view. I don't know why. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do this audio or visual, but we're going to try.
Woohoo.
So today I want to talk about movie etiquette. So a little bit of background. Let me just grab this because I feel more comfortable holding this. A little bit of background about movie etiquette and my opinions. Now, this is all opinions. Nothing is educational. Everyone has an opinion if you're the first time listening to this. This is just a place to be safe and talk about opinions. For instance, I may have an opinion you don't agree with. We can still be friends as long as we're still respectful to each other.
Respect is everything.
So today I want to talk about when it's appropriate to take your children to a movie, how to find what kind of movie to take your children to, so you don't do a mistake like I did when my son was in middle school. It was just him and I going to a movie, and we decided, hey, I'm going to take him to this action movie. And again, middle school boy. The first couple of minutes, maybe 5 minutes, was all boobs. Just naked boobs all over the screen. Now, I don't know as a parent or as a mom how comfortable you are watching naked boobs with your middle school age child, but we ended up sitting with our backs angled towards each other so we didn't have to look at each other or acknowledge that we were watching boobs on screen. Movie was only rated PG-13. He was right around that age. Didn't think anything of it, but not necessarily a movie I wanted to see with my middle school child. The other thing I want to talk about is, what's appropriate for a movie theater, what's appropriate for visitors or customers or moviegoers, as you will, and in my opinion, they should act. One of my pet peeves is little children going with their parents who cannot sit still, who are running, crying, yelling, jumping, kicking seats, throwing food in a movie theater when I'm on a date with my husband or I'm trying to watch a movie with my children or my family and I get distracted from the movie. That's just one of my pet peeves. I feel like if you're going to go to a movie, you should be able to enjoy that movie without being distracted by other members of the audience. What do you think, Max?
Yeah, I think if you're going to take your kid to a movie, it should be like depending on their age and how they act. If you really want to go take them to the movie and they're still rowdy and stuff, go to an earlier showing or even just wait till it comes out on streaming or take them to a movie that is meant for young children.
Now, I remember being pregnant and we went to see one of the fantasy movies a long time ago, Lawrence, and there was a little baby. These parents, it was a crowded movie theater, and these parents brought in their baby, and their baby cried the whole time. How do you feel about children in movie theaters when you're on a date with me or out with the family?
I mean, as long as the movie is appropriate for their age and they're at least contained to their own like bubble,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. But when they become a distraction for you as a parent to just sit and let the kids go wild and disrupt the entire movie theater, it's very annoying and quite frustrating. And I understand not everybody either has the ability to get the babysitter or maybe the babysitter cancels, but I think at that point you kind of got to look at it and make a choice on, is it really worth it? Are you getting what you want out of that movie, or would it have been better to just cancel your plans and then go at a later time when those kids were able to be babysat or maybe with grandma and grandpa for the evening or what have you?
Okay. Now, one of my pet peeves, I don't know if you want to point the camera at Dad when I say this. He's shaking his head no.
So, no.
But one of my pet peeves in the movie theater is cell phones. One, I think it's ridiculous that now before every movie they say please silence and turn off your cell phones. If I'm paying money to go to sit in a movie theater and I'm paying even more for my movie snacks because let's face it, popcorn and a soda cost more than a movie ticket. I want to be able to enjoy that and enjoy the whole experience. And it's getting ridiculous that we have all these ads before movies, in my opinion, before we go to the previews. And then we see the movies. Half the time I don't even know what we're watching, but then I get distracted. If I'm in a dark theater, I want to be able to talk to the people I'm with until the previews start. I don't want to have them on their phones, having it blinded, playing their games, checking their text
I don't
messages.
do that.
I'm just saying, I personally think cell phones should be turned off the minute you get into the movie theater.
Now, see, here's where we disagree a little bit. I think so long as you're not using your phone during the actual movie, I think it shouldn't really matter so long as, because, the ads and previews pretty much are the same depending on when you're going to the movies, how often you go to the movies. So I would say definitely during the movie, no phones. It should be silent and should be off and should be in like a pocket or something. But when you're waiting for the movie to start, I don't think cell phones are that big of a deal. But then again, me personally, I'm not like on my phone at movie theaters all the time.
Well, yeah, but you're probably the least addicted to your phone in anyone in our family. I'm just saying.
I know because I just put it up in my room and come downstairs.
What are your thoughts on this, Lawrence?
Honestly, when the house lights are up, it doesn't bother me at all. Do what you're going to do. Have a conversation if that's what you want to do. Be on your phone if that's what you want to do. But when the lights go down, put the phone up and pay attention to the movie that you paid for.
Okay. But what about the previews? Because sometimes the lights aren't all the way down during the previews, and I like watching the previews so I can plan what I want to see next.
Honestly, I don't really care. The previews are previews, and if you want to watch previews, go for it. If somebody's on their phone during previews, it really doesn't bother me. So, quite honestly, I don't care. My big thing is when the movie starts, pay attention to the movie.
So that's where you and I disagree on this.
Yep, probably.
Fair enough. You can have your own opinion about it. Doesn't mean I'm not going to harp mine at you. All right, let's talk respecting the movie theater and the going to the movies, because you pay a lot of money. I don't care if you're just going by yourself, if you're going as a couple, if you're going as a family. I think the last time we took all of our family to the movies, it cost us over $100. Movies are expensive.
Right.
And the people who work there probably are making minimum wage, the ushers and all that other stuff. Is it their responsibility when you have someone throwing food? Because let's face it, we've had those movies where little kids think it's hilarious to throw popcorn at each other, or where I think it's hilarious to try to throw popcorn in your mouth.
Yeah, but like you don't throw an excess at it. It's not like you're throwing it at the screen.
Okay, but what about when you spill something? Say you spill your soda halfway through the movie.
I think when you spill something, you need to, one, definitely you need to let the staff know. But two, if you're able to, I would say, and they have paper towels in the bathroom, grab some paper towels and try to at least mop up most, if not all of it. And then let a staff member know, hey, my drink spilled. I try to clean up. That way they know that they need to do a little bit more than just a quick sweep through.
Okay.
But it also makes their job a lot easier because, again, they're making minimum wage, but that doesn't mean that they should have to clean up after other people.
So, in my opinion, and I am horrible with this, I will say I break movie etiquette, but in my opinion, movie etiquette is you shouldn't try to throw food, whether it's fun, whether you're angry, whether you're upset. It just shouldn't be done.
Right.
You're not going to do it in your house without having to clean it up. So why are you doing it in someone else's house? Now, that being said, yeah, I mess with my kids and I'll throw popcorn at them to get their attention. So I'm breaking my own opinion on movie etiquette. I have been a horrible person with that.
Which is why we don't let her hold the popcorn.
Just saying. What are your thoughts on that, Lawrence?
Soda's a hard one. If there is a spill, I mean, I'm sure everybody's walked into a movie theater and had their shoes stick to the floor as they're walking to their seat. There's really not supplies available for people to use to clean up spills like that, but at least letting the house know that, hey, we oopsed and there's a mess, so that they can hopefully clean it up. As far as food and popcorn and trash, just be a decent person and clean up after yourself. It shouldn't be just thrown everywhere to let it be somebody else's problem. That's honestly just courteousness and taking care of your own mess. That should be commonplace, and a lot of times it's not.
Fair enough. Now I want to tell you something, and this didn't happen with your father. So he wasn't there to see one of my most embarrassing moments ever on a date. But I was on a date my senior year of high school, and I was coming down with a stomach flu. So when we were at the movie theater, I had to get up and leave because it made me sick. And I want people to know covers on garbage cans can be lifted. If you can't make it to the toilet or the bathroom to throw up, it's not a good idea to try to stick your head through the opening of a garbage can because all you're doing is creating more mess for the people who have to clean up after you. I'm just saying. So in one of my opinions, honest opinions for movie etiquette, don't go to the movies if you feel like you're getting sick. And if you do throw up, take off the lid to the garbage can if you can't make it to the toilet.
And also, if you feel like you're starting to get sick, definitely don't go, because one time I went to a movie with both my parents and I wasn't feeling great and I ended up sleeping through most of it.
Yep. Or, and just so you know, I read somewhere once that head lice, one of the common places to pick up head lice is at a movie theater. So I would go so far as to say, one, if you're feeling sick, don't go. And two, if you've had head lice that hasn't been treated, don't go to the movie theater and infest everyone else.
Yeah, you don't do that. That is, one, that's inconsiderate to other people, and two, that's wrong.
Yeah. But again, when I did mine, I was a teenager. It was back in the 1990s, back in my day for
Yep,
Maggie.
back in your day.
I was dumb.
I know.
But now, we have all these respiratory flus that are going around and, people are getting really sick. If you're feeling down or you're feeling sick, I don't want to sit in a movie theater when I pay good money to hear you coughing and sneezing and hacking. I'd rather enjoy the movie and not be distracted by that.
Right. And in my opinion, also concerning movies, definitely do your research on why a certain movie is rated R. Just because a few years back, a certain rated R movie was coming out, and in the promotion, the actors themselves were saying this is not a kids movie. And the reason they were saying that is because it was of the superhero genre, and they knew that parents were going to want to take their kids to go see that movie. So they kept saying, hey, it's rated R for a reason. This isn't a kids movie. Don't bring your kids here. And parents were upset when they brought their kids to that movie and it wasn't kid friendly.
So you were saying when parents are bringing kids to the movies, they actually need to do some investigation on that movie. So they don't bring their teenage son to a booby movie and have to watch boobs with their kids.
Or bring their daughter and her friend to a movie that said it was rated R for one thing but left out a completely different thing.
I apologize. I didn't mean for you to see that penis at that time. Just so you know, it was fake. They don't all look like that.
I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the one you took Jayla and I to.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that one, too. But you guys were older, and you're in high school, so it was just more uncomfortable for mom sitting with you guys.
I learned how to read in the dark. I'm just saying, during that scene, I had learned how to read in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
What, the popcorn bag just was interesting.
I'm sure it was. So, again, like Maggie says, in my opinion, if you're going to take a child to something that's not animated or rated for little kids, not only should you do your research and not just look at the reviews and the ratings, but maybe some of the promo codes that the actors are doing. Because a lot of times they will tell you, hey, this isn't appropriate. The other thing I would say is when you do decide to watch that movie, if you get a copy of it and you take it home, just from my own opinion, don't go to a martini night at your girlfriend's house, spend the night, and fall asleep, and then have to answer your third grader's question. Mom? Fourth, sorry. Do people really get cancer if they have sex for a year? That's a very interesting conversation you have to have. So, as a parent, I would say watch those movies without your children and make sure they're appropriate. What do you think, Lawrence?
Well, it sounds like you've had some personal experience and some oopses of your own. Um, if you have the time and the finances to be able to pre-screen everything before your kids go, at least then you'll know exactly what they're going into. But realistically, just make good judgments and plan out what you feel is acceptable for your kids to watch and what's not. And don't be afraid to get up and leave the movie if it's something that you really don't want your kids to watch. Uh, that's a lot better than sitting there and being uncomfortable.
I would say yes, and that took a I Lewis and I actually did that on another movie that I messed up and didn't do my research on. So again, don't necessarily have the best movie etiquette myself, but I have lots of opinions.
Yep.
Now, what about putting your feet up in those theaters that do not have the reclining seats? Because God love them, I love those reclining seats. I'm older, I'm fat, I like to put my feet up. Where's the best part in the movie theater to sit?
For me personally, it's in the back with the most leg room when you don't have people behind you and you can see the entire screen from high up. But I'm also not to the point in my life where my joints hurt walking up and down stairs. I'm
Listen to
not,
this kid. Listen to this kid. Oh, I'm so young and I'm cute and little and look at my joints don't hurt. Jeez.
well, I'm not to that point in my life yet where I have to really start worrying about that. So to me, center in the very back row.
Okay. Is that because no one's kicking you behind or putting their feet up?
No one's kicking me from behind, throwing popcorn at my head from behind.
Which we've had happen.
Yeah, I can actually see if someone's trying to throw popcorn at me from another row.
What about you, Lawrence? Where's the best place in the movie theater for you to sit?
Obviously, center screen, and me personally, I like being mid to high in the theater. It's just the best view. But to go along with your earlier point and the feet up, that's feet belong on the ground. They don't belong on chairs. The chairs in front of you are not there for your footrest, and quite honestly, that's really rude and shame on those people.
And not only that, but sometimes people's feet really stink. I'm just saying.
Hence why the back row has more leg room.
Now, for me, in my opinion, I like the back row. I like sitting more in the middle because my ankle hurts after the car accident we had a few months ago. But the other place I like to sit is in the first row behind the handicap section because if there is no one there, they have those bars there, and I'll put my feet on those bars. I'll be honest. I will prop up my feet and put them on the bars. It's probably not the best movie etiquette. I really have bad movie etiquette.
We know.
What about making noise during the movie?
So, for me, if you're laughing during a movie with the rest of the audience, that's one thing. But if you're like shouting and screaming during the movie, no, that is not polite to do or respectful of others. Like, I get everyone reacts to movies in their own way, but there is no need for an over the top reaction
Oh,
where
now wait a minute. Remember that movie a few years ago? And I was so excited that when that started playing, I started giggling, and you guys were in the back
it was
row,
not a giggle, it was a full laugh, first
and
of all.
everyone in that theater started laughing. So you're saying that's inappropriate just because I got excited?
No. What I'm talking about is like midway through the movie, someone starts screaming and like fully wailing because of what a character on screen did. Like that's over the
But
top.
what about when I think it's hilarious and I start laughing even if it's not appropriate? Like
Like,
there's a certain actor that has scared me since I was like 7 or 8, and that's back in the 80s. I was spending the night at my friend's house, and they were watching a vampire movie, and this actor's still acting, and I love going to the movies where this actor gets beat up, and I'll start laughing. Is that really inappropriate?
Yes, that is inappropriate, and shame on you for ruining everybody else's movie going experience.
But I don't think it's inappropriate. I find it hilarious.
Well, so do the people who are having loud conversations during the movie and disrupting the rest of the theater. realistically, if you're doing things that are trying to take the attention away from the screen, you're being inappropriate.
But I'm not
Now,
trying.
sometimes people find it funny and they'll giggle, and if it's like a once during the movie thing and everybody haha that's funny and you move on with the movie, fine, whatever. But if it's a continuous thing, then you should probably not go to the movie theater.
But honey, I'm not trying to laugh. I just think it's hilarious.
I understand.
And sometimes I start to laugh and other people start laughing with me.
So, what your opinion is that everybody else should have great movie etiquette and you should be able to do everything you want.
No, that's not what I'm getting at. It may sound like it. I'm giving bad examples of what I've done that I've learned from. And I don't try to laugh loudly. Sometimes I'll snicker a little bit.
You
But
just
there's
have a
times I
loud
can't help
laugh.
it.
You just have a very loud laugh sometimes.
Sometimes I'll give you that.
You have a loud voice and you know how to project it. I know personally when I got an award at school and you were in the audience, I'm walking up to the stage and then I hear you yell my name from way back in the
I
back
want you to know
row.
I'm proud of you. Is that bad etiquette? So, what about people talking during the movie?
No.
Really?
I don't like people like if they're just whispering where you can't hear it, that's one thing. But I went to a movie with Lewis and Alicia and they were whispering to each other the entire time. I heard them and I kept saying, guys, I was like, shh, guys, movie. Like the movie's on, And if I can hear you guys, yeah, I'm sitting right next to you, but there's also people next to me and next to Alicia, like, yes, you guys have commentary, but please just watch the movie and stuff.
Okay. Now, Lawrence, I'll say something to you, and you'll say something to me. And my kids feel like I need hearing aids. Do I talk loudly in the movie when I tell you stuff?
Generally, no. You're pretty quiet about it, and that's like I said, that's fine as long as you're not creating a disruption in the movie and you're not drawing everybody's attention to you. But when you're being loud and everybody can hear you, or even the people really around you can hear you, and it distracts them from the movie, that's that shouldn't be done. That's just being rude.
So, a few years ago, they started doing live adaptations to anime movies from the 90s and early 2000s. And I took
She
my
is
boys.
talking about a very popular children's cartoon that got adapted into a live action.
It was an AI live action. It was all animals.
Again, it was a children's cartoon originally.
But I took my boys who were, senior and sophomore or junior in high school. One of the boys was my son's best friend, but I claim him. And during the whole movie, these animals were not anatomically correct, and it was bothering me. So I would elbow my son's best friend and say, "No balls, no balls. Look, no balls. It's wrong. It's wrong." Would that be considered poor movie etiquette?
Yes.
But no one else could hear me.
Okay. I get that they were going on and on about how these animals were going to be a taunt and a not.
It would look real life.
Yeah, be correct entirely. But you have to remember, it was a live action adaptation of a popular children's cartoon.
Right, but these kids, when they go to the zoo, they see balls.
Were there balls in the original cartoon?
No, that was a cartoon. This is supposed to look like real life animals.
But they weren't real life animals, so they didn't have to have the balls. It was a kid's.
I will say this. You were distracting Oscar, or not Oscar, but your son and his friend during the whole movie, drawing attention from the movie to you. That was poor movie etiquette.
Oh, well, is it poor movie etiquette on me, or the people who made the movie and said, "Oh, these animals are gonna look real life," but they had no balls?
It is poor etiquette on you for continuously pointing out how they did not have testicles.
Okay. So I have bad movie etiquette, is what we're saying. In your guys' opinions, I have bad movie etiquette.
In certain cases, yes. There are times when you don't have bad movie etiquette.
Okay.
And
Now, before we get off this podcast, because we're coming to an end, and we're gonna sit there and give our opinions, even though my family seems to think I'm horrible with movie etiquette, because I pointed out
we think you're funny.
an animal had no balls several times, and that person I was sitting, my son's best friend, said he wasn't going to go to see another movie like that with me. But anyways,
Hasn't he seen a movie with you since?
yeah, but not like that. It wasn't an adaptation.
Yeah.
But anyways, what's better now? Because movie prices are up, popcorn prices are up, and like I said earlier in when we were talking earlier, it cost us almost over $100 to take a family of 5, even though our kids are all adults, so we're buying adult tickets. But it costs about over $100 for movie tickets and snacks. Is it better to wait and either pay on a streaming device to see these movies when they come out early streaming versus going and sitting in a dark theater with a crowd of people who are excited to see the same movie as you are, no cell phones? Maggie, in your opinion, what's the better way of seeing movies now?
Okay, one, I think it depends on certain factors. Like, in my opinion, I think if you really, really want to see this movie, go see it in theaters. But if it's a movie where you're like, not too sure on, I would wait till it comes out on streaming.
Okay.
And if you have like really little kids and you can't find a sitter, I would wait till it came out on streaming. Overall, I think it just depends on one, how much you want to see the movie, and two, are you also willing to pay those prices instead of just waiting for it to come out on streaming?
Okay. Lawrence, your opinion?
Nowadays, with streaming and everything, your movie's playing in the theater at the same time that it's streaming on your services. So if you're gonna want to have all your running commentary and your jokes and everything, do it at home. If you want to go see it in the theater on the big screen, realize that that is not your home. It is a place, a public place where there's many other people there. Go sit quietly, watch the movie, enjoy it, and then when you leave the theater, have all your commentary and whatnot.
What
But
about laughter?
laughter is one thing, but if it's obnoxious to the point where the entire theater is drawn away from the movie and you're the center of attention for it, you're probably doing it wrong.
I'm not trying to be loud when I laugh.
No, but at that case, at that instance, just watch it at home. You can be as loud and obnoxious as you want to be, and nobody will care. Don't go to the theater and ruin it for everybody else who's just trying to see a movie.
Okay. So, Maggie,
Yep.
your opinion, what's a proper movie etiquette?
Okay, so in my opinion, coming from the younger generation, I would say when you go to a movie theater, yes, make sure your phone is on silent and make sure that when the movie starts, your phone is off and in your pocket or something, just so you're not on the phone. I think when the previews are playing and ads are playing, yeah, still be on your phone, whatever. But once that movie starts, phone goes off. If you have little kids and you want to take them to a movie that's rated above even PG, do your research on the movie, make sure that it actually is appropriate for your kids and understand why it got the PG-13 rating. Don't purposely make a mess in the theater because, again, people do have to clean those up, the messes up, and it takes more time for them when the theater needs to be used again to go in and clean up every mess that gets made in that theater. Just also don't be disruptive during the movie. Don't be throwing food. Don't just
Enjoy the movie.
enjoy the movie and be respectful to others. Don't talk loudly. Yeah, maybe whisper to like the person next to you, but don't whisper loud enough where people can hear the.
So, what I'm getting is, in your opinion, be courteous and
Yeah,
respectful to others.
and make sure once the movie's over, you clean up after yourself. You get all of your garbage and stuff, and you take it out of the theater. You don't just leave it there.
Okay, Lawrence, do you have any closing opinions?
Yeah, just be nice to the people that are sharing the space with you. Don't be inappropriate, don't be rude, and leave the attention on the screen where it belongs.
All right. And then since this is Amy's opinion, we're going to end with my opinion. My opinion after talking with my family is I'm a horrible moviegoer. I have really bad etiquette and I need to work on it. But I agree that we just need to treat each other with common courtesy and respect. And I think that's lacking in a lot of areas lately because everyone's kind of focused on what they want. It's about me, and my experience. So it's something I need to work on, in my opinion. Thank you for listening to Amy's opinions. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, please post them and we will try to get back to you. And have a good day.
Yep. Have a good one. Bye.